Greetings, seekers of truth. Welcome to a profound journey deep into the hidden realms of history and faith. Picture a grand, ancient square where heavy gold coins drop into wooden boxes with a loud, echoing sound. Now picture a dark room where one copper coin is given in deep silence, witnessed by the divine alone. Which act holds true eternal value? The loud public applause, or the quiet hidden terror in the dark? Today we reveal the hypocrite's fall and the sacred art of giving in the shadows. Let us begin. Charity, prayer, and fasting have long stood as the three grand pillars of ancient spiritual life. Ancient records suggest these sacred practices shaped the very moral fabric of the human world. Yet, beneath this righteous facade lies a fatal and deeply incurable disease of human nature. It is the insatiable thirst for fame, a desperate craving for the loud applause of the mortal crowd. We truly desire to perform noble deeds, yet a darker shadow corrupts our original intent. We find even deeper satisfaction when others witness our acts of apparent boundless charity. The fragile human ego demands a grand stage to announce its supposed goodness to the entire world. In the busy streets of ancient Jerusalem, faith slowly transformed into a loud public spectacle. Proud leaders paraded their high morality, wearing long tassels to signify their deep devotion. They built an image of absolute perfection, masking the rotting spiritual decay buried within. The ancient marketplace became a busy theater, where every coin was a performance for the masses. True compassion was quietly replaced by a transactional exchange of wealth for social prestige. To the common observer, these men appeared as the holiest and most righteous figures in the city. However, modern scholars note that this superficial display completely missed the true spiritual core. They actively sought the immediate validation of peers, ignoring the gaze of the Creator. Every public prayer was a mere echo chamber, designed to amplify their own perceived magnificence. This profound history brings us to a crucial question. Are we wearing similar masks in our modern lives? If you were stripped of all public recognition, would you still generously give to those in deep need? This stark reflection forces us to deeply examine the dark corners of our hidden personal motives. The hypocrite builds his fortress of morality on shifting sands of public opinion and human praise. He carefully ensures that his charitable acts are highly visible, placed for maximum social impact. Yet this intense obsession with outward appearances completely hollows out the core of the action. It turns a sacred duty into a profane transaction, reducing profound faith to a marketing scheme. The tragic irony is that they genuinely believe they are purchasing salvation with clinking gold. They proudly stand before the masses, oblivious to the spiritual bankruptcy plaguing their hollow souls. Ancient historical texts warn us that pride is the ultimate poison, destroying earthly virtues. A heavy coin given to be seen becomes a dark iron chain, strongly binding the proud giver to vanity. The loud clatter of metal dropping into the wooden box loudly echoes the absolute emptiness within. This elaborate performance fully deceives the admiring crowd, but it never fools the all-seeing divine. The desperate poor, blinded by the dazzle of wealth, mistake arrogant theatricality for holiness. They offer deep reverence and breathless admiration, unknowingly fueling the raging fire of pride. Every single gasp of awe from the desperate peasants serves as another brick in the monument of ego. And so, the ancient square remains a stage for the greatest illusion, where truth is traded for applause. Jesus of Nazareth watched this grand spectacle, directly calling these arrogant individuals actors. He used the precise Greek term hypocrites, originally describing men who wore heavy theater masks. When a wealthy man hires trumpeters to announce his generous charity, he turns faith into a joke. Standing at the busy intersections, they loudly utter the most beautifully crafted and eloquent prayers. Their voices effortlessly soar above the chaotic market noise, designed to impress the mortal crowd. Yet this grand religious display is nothing more than a ridiculous theatrical act for the commoners. The terrifying aspect is the definitive historical judgment pronounced upon these extremely proud men. The sacred text states with chilling finality, "They have already received their earthly reward today." The deafening adoration of the massive crowd is simply a completed and stamped payment receipt. They sought the fleeting glory of mankind, and that exact temporary glory is all they will ever get. In the eternal ledges of heaven, their heavily guarded spiritual bank account remains a stark zero. Every single golden coin they proudly dropped was instantly converted into worthless dust in the realm. They purchased their temporary earthly fame, but they tragically lost their eternal divine salvation. The heavy burden of their hypocrisy eventually crushes the foundation of their righteousness. This phenomenon reveals a timeless truth about the extreme danger of mixing human ego with faith. When faith becomes a tool for social climbing, it immediately breaks the genuine connection with God. The sounding trumpets do not reach the heavens. They just bounce off the cold stone walls of the marketplace. They are trapped in a prison of endless validation, constantly needing more applause to feel righteous. Their spiritual vision is deeply obscured by the intoxicating glare of their inflated self-worth. Every gesture is measured not by the weight of love, but by the expected return on public acclaim. This deception has ruined countless souls, turning true potential saints into empty religious politicians. They are spiritual merchants, trading fragments of eternity for cheap and meaningless earthly applause. The heavy incense cannot cover the foul stench of their underlying unbearable vanity and sheer pride. It stands as a chilling reminder that the greatest spiritual danger rarely comes from the outside world. Instead, the true threat resides deeply within the desperately insecure chambers of the human heart. The tragedy is complete when the Pharisee meets his end, clinging tightly to his receipt of public praise. Ask yourself, if no one ever knew about your greatest sacrifice, would you still confidently make it? This brings us to the profound shift taught by the Nazarene regarding the true nature of pure charity. He rejected the theatrical norms of his time, proposing a radically different and silent approach. The ancient scriptures outline a potent antidote to deeply cure this devastating spiritual poison. To fully dismantle the fragile ego, one must embrace the absolute power of profound anonymity. The solution requires us to sever the ingrained connection between good deeds and public recognition. We must step away from the brightly lit stage and actively retreat into the quiet, unobserved shadows. The only effective antidote for this agonizing spiritual illness is absolute anonymity. The ancient teacher commanded, "When you give, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing." This metaphor illustrates a level of profound secrecy that completely defies all normal human logic. True goodness must become a pure reflex, operating as naturally and effortlessly as drawing breath. The righteous act should be so deeply ingrained that you immediately forget the noble deed you performed. We are instructed to firmly shut the heavy door, retreating into the total isolation of a room. You must quietly kneel in the deep darkness, far away from any cameras, audiences, or digital likes. In this sacred, hidden space, there is absolutely no one to offer you a satisfying round of praise. Here, the soul is entirely stripped naked, presenting its pure, unfiltered truth directly to the Creator. Total anonymity acts as a blazing fire, burning away the superficial layers of false human pride. When absolutely no one is watching, the true and pure character of a human being is finally revealed. The silence of the room becomes a massive magnifying glass, focusing entirely on the purity of intent. It separates the true worshipper from the performer with ruthless and uncompromising divine clarity. If giving requires an audience to feel valid, then it was never truly about helping the desperate poor. It was an elaborate transaction to purchase the fleeting admiration of passing earthly strangers. God, the ultimate unseen witness, demands absolute sincerity, completely devoid of theatrical pretense. He firmly rejects the loud clanging of brass instruments, listening instead for the heartbeat of pure grace. The dark room thus transforms into the most brilliantly illuminated holy sanctuary in the entire world. It is the sacred place where humanity finally stops performing and simply learns to humbly exist. By hiding the good deed from the external world, we permanently secure its immense value in heaven. The left hand remains ignorant, ensuring that the right hand perfectly acts out of pure, unselfish love. This secrecy is the precise mechanism that strongly guards the fragile soul against arrogant human pride. It requires immense spiritual discipline to actively reject the tempting allure of public earthly fame. Yet this difficult and silent path is the absolute only way to forge a deeply authentic bond with God. The hidden giver realizes that the most precious earthly rewards are completely worthless in the afterlife. They gladly exchange the loud cheers of men for the profoundly quiet, approving whisper of the Creator. In the absolute absence of an audience, the noble action itself finally becomes the pure, true reward. This silent revolution of the heart fully overthrows the old, tyrannical dictatorship of the human ego. It replaces the loud chains of vanity with the profound, peaceful freedom of anonymous charity. The Creator acts as a silent and patient miner, carefully searching deep within the fragile human heart. He completely ignores the dazzling gold and loud trumpets that easily captivate the mortal human eye. He does not seek the superficial, shining objects scattered carelessly upon the highly public surface. Instead, his divine gaze aggressively pierces into the darkest and most hidden corners of our intent. He meticulously examines the core motivations that silently drive our temporary earthly actions. The Almighty carefully weighs the true spiritual cost of the gift against the giver's vast earthly wealth. A heavy bag of gold given for pure human pride is permanently recorded as absolute emptiness. But a single hidden copper coin, given in pure humility, becomes a brilliant, eternal treasure. He observes the deeply agonizing tears falling silently on the cold and unyielding dark stone floor. These private tears of pure repentance and true compassion are the rarest gems in the entire universe. They are the flawless, eternal diamonds, meticulously carved from the profound depths of true human sorrow. God gathers every single coin given anonymously perfectly knowing the unspoken name of the pure soul. When a desperate hand reaches out to help another without demanding any form of public recognition, that very moment is permanently etched into the divine and everlasting book of true, eternal life. The Book of Life does not record the incredibly loud applause of the massive, adoring, earthly crowd. It only contains the intensely quiet whispers of the deeply humble and profoundly sincere mortal souls. The spiritual ledger calculates true and lasting value based entirely on the hidden, silent sacrifice. To the outside world, the anonymous giver remains a completely forgotten and invisible phantom. But in the glorious courts of heaven, they are celebrated as highly exalted, eternal, holy kings. Their silent earthly deeds loudly and powerfully resonate throughout the vast and boundless eternal realms. The profound tragedy of the hypocrite is that he foolishly trades this holy glory for meaningless dust. He eagerly buys a fading moment of earthly fame and permanently bankrupts his immortal, eternal soul. Meanwhile, the silent giver securely invests their meager earthly wealth in an indestructible vault. This brings us to a terrifying, modern realization about our deeply ingrained, constant financial fears. Many of us do not proudly display morality, but we are utterly consumed by worldly, fading money. You might actively avoid the loud, boasting trumpets, yet still secretly worship the shining golden coin. We spend our entire mortal lives frantically building massive, towering walls of absolute wealth. We anxiously lay awake at night, desperately worrying about the sudden collapse of earthly markets. What is the profound, deeply hidden truth about depositing your wealth into the secure, heavenly bank? Why did the ancient prophets constantly declare that earthly materialism is a deadly, tragic trap? A vast fortune accumulated on earth is highly vulnerable to thieves, rust, and sudden tragic ruin. But a true treasure, secured in the eternal kingdom, is completely immune to the ravages of time. Are you secretly sacrificing your immortal soul for temporary, fleeting financial stability? The dangerous illusion of earthly wealth has completely blinded countless generations to the truth. In the upcoming chapter, we will definitively shatter the highly comforting myths surrounding money. We will finally uncover why desperately hoarding earthly riches consistently leads to ultimate ruin. The truly shocking and magnificent secret of eternal banking will be fully revealed in the next chapter. Is the desire for public praise a natural human flaw, or a dangerous sin that destroys the fragile soul? Tell us below. Does true charity completely lose its divine value if witnessed by other mortal men? If you found deep value in this, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more profound historical truths.